Jack, you take it away. I'll fall in the background and give my two
No,
cents.
cool. Well, I think we can just start super loose and easy. Hi everybody. We still exist. We promise. We haven't gone anywhere. Just leading busy lives, and finding time to record is challenging. And James and I were just talking before we started about some videos we've done in the past, some ideas for future videos, and kind of for me anyway, what ignited me wanting to have us record again was James got a hell of a lot of love on. It was probably on TikTok too, but I'm 31 now, so I'm an old man. I don't have TikTok. It's probably huge on TikTok, I imagine, as well. But on Instagram is where I saw it. James was being interviewed, and I think James will correct me in a minute, but I think it was an all-time Premier League 11 versus like an Arsenal all-time
Yeah.
11. And James, as much as I respect him, was on the best form I've ever seen, just in terms of being an unbiased, good football fan who supports a team very hard, which we're going to get into. But you got a lot of love in that video because a lot of people are going, "Oh my god, not a deluded Arsenal fan." How'd you get into that? Were you just walking by? What happened?
Yeah, I was walking to Crystal Palace game. It wasn't that was the game that I actually got sick. I got badly sick for about 2 weeks, and yeah, I just
Oh
got
no.
walking and they stopped me. I was like, you know what, I'll do it because this is what we do on a daily basis, and it was really fun. It's something that maybe we may do in the future, but yeah, but I've been busy with football, guys. I've been busy coaching and doing a bunch of stuff, but you know what? I'll be real with you guys. I don't watch football as much as I used to. I don't know. I don't seem to enjoy it the way I used to enjoy it. But at the same time, I'm always been a fan. I'm a fan since I was a kid, and football's football to me. So it is life. So I'm always paying attention to it and always seeing things going on. Not as extensive as what I used to be, but I still understand what goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, maybe your opinion on it's just slightly changed. You're more in the weeds on the coaching side. Obviously, there's a youth development and working with youngsters for the football manager heads out there that's part of your daily life, which is maybe taken over a bit more. What's quite funny though, your timing could not be worse because Arsenal are top of the league, and 4 points clear, which is my not so subtle segue. Um, Did you just watch the Brentford game? Presumably, you just came off the back of that. What did you make of that game?
A typical Arsenal game when the pressure's kind of on to make something happen. Not really. Now, coming to the end, it was a bit end to end, but we didn't create much that made me go, wow. We didn't. We had a great Martinelli opportunity, but Brentford looked more than likely to score with their waves of attack, especially think about it, especially in the wide areas and like their switches of like a play that was really effective. They used the set pieces really well from throw-ins and corners, which I'm not a big fan of there. But just another one where I just want Arsenal to put the foot on their necks of a team like Man City. I think if you put the Jurgen Klopp Liverpool team in Arsenal's position, this title race would be out of sight. And right now, if you're Pep Guardiola, you're selling. My lights turned off, unfortunately, it's turned back on. Yeah, yeah, it's a madness over there. You're smelling a bit of blood. You're smelling Arsenal, feeling that bit of nervousness. And Man City give me the old Arsenal way of great going forward, but deceptive to, bad transitions, lapses of concentration. So we'll give goals away. So we've seen them have a 2-goal lead and lose. We see them going away in Champions League in a game that they should win. And honestly, just getting torn apart. Top players dropping down. But at the same time, here's a team with a manager that knows how to get it done and players around them that knows how to get it done. So I'm slightly worried, Jack. Let me not lie.
So look, I remember you and me talking pre-season about the transfer window and how look, I think for the squad and the fact that an Arsenal A team and an Arsenal B team both pretty strong and would both in isolation do very well in the Premier League. I think the A team would probably do a lot better, but in terms of the Trossards of the world, the Maduekes of the world, these kind of like rotation stroke backup type players. I think it's been brilliant. Gyökeres and Gabriel Jesus as starting strikers. Havertz can play there as well. I think there's a good. If you get a couple of injuries, you're not totally screwed, right? And I think we gave Arsenal a lot of credit on the recruitment for that pre-season. But what did we also talk about? The top starting positions did not increase in quality enough for a moment of brilliance to win a 1-1 game away. And don't get me wrong, Brentford are a good team. I don't want to discredit Brentford, but could a Brian Mbumo, could an Antoine Semenyo, could these kind of guys who not only just come into the Arsenal team and you go, oh, okay, yeah, cool, but actually are better than what's already there, does that not potentially make a difference? And I think, unfortunately, it's efficient, it's effective, and I give Mikel Arteta a lot of credit just in terms of putting them where they are. But I think there's this opportunity here, and I think you and I are on the same page, and we were pre-season too. I think we thought that Arsenal would be there or thereabouts, but we both picked Man City to win the league. I don't know if since pre-season your opinions changed, but James, Diaz is going to get back and be fit and build a partnership with Mark Gahey. Erling Haaland will start scoring again at some point. Your Doku's of the world and these kinds of guys are going to get fit again. And I think Man City are going to go on a run and catch Arsenal up. And again, I don't strictly take any joy in doing that. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of banter to be had at Arsenal's expense, sure. But I mean, for you, where are you at with this, you know,
Um,
race?
Jack, this whole notion that Arsenal have this incredible team of like two teams that can win in challenge in the Premier League is true to a certain extent. Squad strength is great, but Jack, it doesn't blow you away. It really, really one side. So Arsenal to me are very bottom heavy defensively. Jack, we got Colossus in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I'm like Musquera right now. He is an unbelievable defender, and is so unlucky at the fact that he has two Colossus in front of him, and he can't get in a week in and week out game. Yeah, we look at, for instance, Zubamendi coming in, how great Rice is, Timber, just Calafiori. We just have a lot of players there that really, really do a lot defensively. And look, Arsenal's record is the best in the league. Granted, we are conceding goals, but it's not at a crazy rate. And there was a time when you look at Arsenal's shot to goal ratio, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The amount of shots we concede, we barely do concede it at times. But going the opposite way, Jack, to win league titles, to win great stuff, you always need great individuals. And I look at Arsenal, I don't think we've had that enough. When was the last time you watched you were like Arsenal saw an attacking play that you were like, wow? Gokares was one in a way. Yeah. But to me, it's like you look at teams who've previously won in the past. I'm gonna bring up Manchester United. Let's break it down. They win their first title in 2007. Do you know what they do? They sign Luis Nani, Anderson, Carlos Tevez. You're like, okay, they win the Champions League, they win the Premier League. What do? We're gonna sign Dimitar Berbatov. Year after year, they're bringing a player that makes you go, wow. Not oh, you know that guy's gonna bang. You
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that guy's serious.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why you had a lot of Manchester United fans complain about what happened after Ronaldo left, because they were just so used to elevating and elevating and elevating. Pep in his time there, so like 2010, they win the league, unlucky in the Champions League. What do? They signed David Villa. They have that. They have that. Jackie. They bring that. When was the last time Arsenal brought that player? Be like, wow, Aubameyang for sure. Yeah, Alexis Sanchez, Özil, but it's few and far between.
Yeah.
It's not big one, big one, big one. Arteta, since he's, especially in the last 4 years, there hasn't been an attack to make you go, wow. Not even Madueke has been fantastic since he's come in, but he didn't make me say, wow. Oh, he's gonna
No.
take us. He's gonna take us to the next level. Go on,
Yeah.
Jack.
No. He's a floor raiser, isn't he? And I think that's the frustration. The squad is built to challenge on multiple fronts and be good and blah 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 blah, but it's not built to be special. And I think that's for. Go ahead. Go.
The one in to me, that's what separates us and Man City, Jack. You look
Right.
at Man City right now. Let's look at individuals. Semenyo, he's come in right now and he's raised the floor in City in terms
Yeah.
of use. He's creating
And the
chances.
ceiling.
He's
Yeah.
scoring goals, Jack. He's doing things that you're like, oh my days. We didn't think City's tackle could get better. He's brought it to a next level. Doku, who when he's on it, has produced some of the best performances we've seen this season. The game against Liverpool, where he's blown the team away. The little Doku move to put the ball inside the far corner, forward him. Yeah, I know he has moments where he's up there, he topsy turvy, but when he's at it, he's a proper match winner. How many times you see him receiving on the back foot and smashing it into the goal? The whip, the finesse, he got that in there. Ryan Cherky, what can I say about him? Jack. You know what he
Yeah,
brings to the table. You know how
yeah.
special he is. Bernardo Silva's an all-rounder. We know how great he is, and obviously, like Erling Haaland. Let's be truthfully honest. You look
Rodri,
at what
Diaz,
you know,
Gahey,
but you look at the top. I'm talking about the top end of
Donnarumma
it.
in goal.
So,
Anyway, so,
but you look at the top end of it. Man City's top end is so much better than ours. Our
yeah,
bottom
it
end is
is.
so much better than theirs, and that's
Yes.
and like that's where it's gonna be. Does the attack beat the defense? What how's it gonna work? Because for instance, Jack, Arsenal are gonna have a shootout with Man City in a couple weeks in soon when we have to go to Etihad Stadium. This won't be like Liverpool when they used to go out to Etihad Stadium or Man City when they used to go to Anfield. They're going toe for toe. I can't see Arteta saying, you know what, we're gonna go shot for shot with you here. We're gonna be defensive. And granted, Man City have to beat us. We don't have to beat them right now. I
Well,
hear that, but in terms of view of attack, I don't think we have enough to like sustain that killer mindset that City have.
yeah, look, I think you're right. I think I was texting friends. I think City win the league, and I think it's over in game week 37. That's my prediction. If you made me put money on it, that's what I would say. I don't think we go into the final game week with who it's going to be. What do you think? It's 4 points now. I don't have the games played in front of me. Are we have we got 12 games left?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
What do you think if I had to push you for a prediction for who's going to win the league?
At the start of the season, I said City. If I say City right now, I'd be like, you're that bold Arsenal fan, and be like, oh, you're just scared. I- I'm gonna
You
back
said
us
it
to do it.
pre-season.
I said in preseason, but Jack,
Yeah,
Arsenal have been top of the table from almost minute one to now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. After Liverpool had that little five game stretch, we've been on top. We've dominated. We've had a 8 point, 6 point, 9 point lead at like points in a season. The damage that this would do to Arsenal if we don't win this league title, Jack, would be enormous.
yeah. It would.
I can't see us coming back from this. I just can't see a world where second place, second place, second place, second place 4 times in a row.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, isn't it? And also, like, it's also, let's say it's a Xabi Alonso Liverpool team, right? And Ekitike's fit and getting some games, and Isak's fit and getting some games, and Verts is kind of finding a groove, and all the signings start clicking into place. That new kid from Rennes they've signed at centre back comes in, does a nice job. Liverpool are back. Man United had another good transfer window where they signed a bunch of midfielders and a centre back and whatever, and they've got Luis Enrique in the dugout. I'm making that up, but like that, Man United might be back. Chelsea seem to have a bit of a thing going. You can't count on them too long, but they might be kind of back. This year is the year because it's a down year for most teams. And we're not going to have these kinds of like, oh, every team's beating every team and all the teams are nice and bunched up together again. So I am going to force you. I know you've said it's damaging. Are Arsenal going to win the league in your opinion, your prediction? I've got to force you. I've got to have you answer the question. What
I'm
do you
gonna
think?
back it with my whole chest. We are bringing that damn title home. I can't.
Good.
I can't be on Twitter. I can't be on Instagram acting like a fool and acting like my team's not gonna do it. We are gonna do it by
Good.
force or fire. It's gonna be a couple tears here. It's gonna be Arteta days where I'm saying, "Don't bun this team." That's what Arsenal have done to me my whole life. But we're
Yeah,
finally gonna bring it home. By
good.
1 point, I don't know, goal difference. We're gonna bring it home, Jack.
I
Yep,
love it.
that's it.
Um,
That's it.
Champions League spots. What if we're gonna say it's the top five? Who are the five? City, Arsenal. Who are your next three? You've got Villa in there, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United. Did Brentford make a push? I'm trying to think who else is around in those kinds of spots. What do you think?
Let me.
Just quickly, I think Chelsea make it in. I think Man United make it in, and then I think it's between Liverpool and Villa. I think Liverpool just about blagged their way into fifth, possibly, and then Villa lose team. Look, I'm not an
Yeah,
XG head, right? I'm not a huge. I like some of the underlying numbers, but I like letting my eyes do the test first. Villa are scoring some wild, like low XG goals that just shouldn't be going in and winning games by small margins. I just think eventually they're going to get drained and those shots are going to stop going in and these wins will turn into draws. Draws might turn into losses.
Do you know what? I don't back Villa at all.
No, I know.
Jack, there's something about Villa that just doesn't. I just like don't get this a good side. Unai Emery is a phenomenal coach. There's something about squeaky bum time with certain teams. I've seen it. I've seen it too many times, Jack. Remember, not like Nottingham Forest last year. Almost they were guaranteed to get a stamp, but they had to collapse, and they basically did that.
Yeah.
Leicester in previous years, we've seen Newcastle on so many occasions too. I just see it with these type of teams in there. My only issue, Man United and Chelsea, do they have the consistency?
Mm.
That they will pip them if they can find a consistency because I do see Villa collapsing. I do see Villa
Chelsea.
having
I do think Chelsea will, and the only reason I say that is because I think if you've got, I just think Caicedo and Enzo, you've always got a chance. I mean, Jesus, in midfield, that is a. I'd hate to play against those two. Cole Palmer seems to be getting back to some sort of fitness. João Pedro is quietly having quite a good year. I think Pedro Neto's a nice player. Defensively, it seems kind of okay.
but
I think Chelsea will just have enough. But I think, James, I think there's going to be a lot of 3-2s where they're 2-0 down and they come back and win 3-2, or they're 2-0 up and they win 3-2, you know?
but Jack, this is the issue I have with Chelsea right now. I don't know what the damn thing I'm going to get with them.
No, it's
Like
true.
like
It's true.
okay, I'm watching the West Ham. I'm seeing the West Ham game, seeing the 2-0 down. What's going on here? Come back 3-2. Oh, Leeds leading 2-0, no problem. Drop 2 points. What? Like
Man United
it's so odd.
Man United, by the way, I think what's really in their favour is on the back end half of the season. The City game and the Arsenal game are already gone. Those are in the rearview mirror, and they got wins out of those games. So the hope, I think, from their point of view, would be right. Okay, don't get me wrong. We've still got to play Chelsea. We've still got to play Liverpool. We've still got to play Villa. We've still got to play some of these slightly more challenging teams. But the really challenging ones are gone, and they've taken 6 points from the two most challenging games. And I think that, especially at home, Old Trafford does seem to be a bit of a fortress again. Worry
Yeah.
about them away from home for sure. But, there's a couple late goals going in, seems to be creating some sort of nostalgia aspect. I think they will safely be in the top four, but I
Jack,
don't know, to be honest
Jack,
with you. I wouldn't say that super confidently.
Jack, I say this to Manchester United. They're a weird team. And Jack, the reason why I say this is that those games against Arsenal and Man City, that's what they thrive on.
Yeah.
Big games like that, all eyes on them. They're gonna perform. But the issue with Manchester United is that they play at home to Fulham. Yeah. Everything's going rosy 2-2. They were able to get a fantastic equalizer there. But the game that they're expected to win, they make it difficult for themselves. West Ham, after winning 5 games in a row, West Ham, who have been on a bit of form lately, but you're still expecting Manchester United to go there and put their foot down. Listen, they blagged a last minute equalizer, but it's not good enough. A game
No.
that you expect them to take advantage of. Everything came to. I know this is more of who's their manager before Amarin's time. I
Yeah.
know this, I like Amarin's time, but everything coming to Old Trafford and winning in like winning the game after being a man down. This is not good enough. When they're expected to win, that's when you're going to see a Manchester United struggle. Going away to Anfield where they got a great termination, they're ready for that, Jack, because you're going
They're
to see a
probably
performance
ready.
from these guys in these games that they're expected to win, Jack. That's what's going to let them down going forward for sure.
The only thing I'll say about them, and this is potentially me getting clipped up and looking like an idiot in future years. Last transfer window, summer transfer window, is the first good Manchester United transfer window I've seen in a long time. And I think if they can have one or two of those more, I think they'll be right up challenging in the kind of title race conversation. I think if they can get it right with a top end midfielder, maybe two, if they can get it right with another centre back or whatever they go for, I think they'll be right up there. Again, I know it's a bit of a hot take, but I think I look at each of the signings and I just think, wow, actually it's gone quite well. And in the history for that team, it's not really looked that way. Um,
Jack,
Liverpool. Yeah,
uh,
go.
just the last thing about Manchester United. You say that Man United are Bruno Fernandes sail away from everything just going topsy turvy.
That is so true. How good is he, by the way? Jesus.
Jack, the way he carries their offense is actually ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Everything. everything goes through him. Even when he doesn't get the main assist, it's his pass that leads. Yeah, it's his pass that splits the game open. It's him looking forward. A chance is
Yeah,
going to create it. It's gone through him, and obviously with him being 32 years of age, and has
yeah.
been Manchester United's best signing pre-Ferguson era. Once he maybe decides, okay, after obviously what's happened last season with the whole Saudi thing, if he decides I want to go, Jack, replacing him, I think is going to be the hardest thing of all.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you try and do just a like for like, I think there were some rumors about Cole Palmer, but good luck trying to sign him from Chelsea. I mean, what are you thinking? That's not going to happen, is it? Um, Liverpool, it's weird. And I think we're kind of finally getting to a bit of a consensus on the fact that Klopp did a brilliant job. Slot came in and kind of rode the coattails a little bit, made them a bit more conservative, but there were a lot of Klopp principles in there and a lot of Klopp confidence that was still there that got them the title last season, which was kind of underwhelming if we're being honest about it. And this year, some of the issues have kind of reared their head. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think that you spend a bunch of money and that automatically means it should work. I think a signing gets judged after the signing leaves the football club. How did the signing do? But after spending all that money, you're always going to get a negative narrative. What do you think? I think Liverpool just about make it in, but I think that a lot of big games they might lose, and their saving grace is just going to be wins. I think at Anfield mainly, and then maybe the odd away win against an inferior team. I don't know. If I'm being honest, if Villa are going to get it in, it's going to be at the expense of Liverpool. That would be my bet.
I think, Jack, fair play to Liverpool lately because obviously they went through a crazy period after like the 5 game stretch, just losing games. And you mentioned, oh, what's going on with the Klopp, in Slot Saga. One of the biggest thing I'm going to say is expectation, Jack. And the hardest thing to do in football to me is to maintain expectation. And we all like Jack, we all knew at a time period that Liverpool were by far and away the team to beat. Yeah. And we've seen it with old club teams. I know that that was more injury based too. But after Liverpool won the league, the season after, Jack, they finished top four and they just made it. Yeah. Off a off a Allison header against West Brom in the last minute. That was the reason why they made it. Liverpool probably don't react well to me to being that team, to me being the chasing team. Yeah, or like sorry, to me being the hunted team. And with all the changes and all the players coming in, Jack, it is when I look at it from the point of view, it was and is a lot, you know. Verts, I think, is a top player. He's coming into his own, but he's taking some time to kind of get it. I don't think that they've really replaced Luis Diaz in a way. People don't understand how important he is, and
Yeah.
especially you look at the left hand side in Premier League right now. I think it's the poorest it's ever been. How like before, look how littered the left hand side was in Premier League from your Hazards to your Alexis Sanchez's, and now it's like it's not there. And Luis Diaz was one of the best. Now he's
Yeah.
in there. It's like, oh, it's a Gakpo. It's a, like no one can really find the form right now. Salah, he's gotten a year older, and Jack, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a criticism. I don't like to criticize Salah because I know his numbers. I know how great he was. Last season was arguably the greatest Premier League performance we've ever seen from an individual, and he offensively carried that team. Jack, I was watching a game against Sunderland. The amount of misplaced passes it is, and one of the biggest things I'll say, it is down to confidence. It is truly down to confidence, and
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
not as
But
confident as
James,
what he was.
I feel a little bit vindicated, and
Jack, you
people,
can't. No, 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 no. You cannot feel vindicated knowing
mate,
about. So I'm not having that, Jack.
people.
After 400 goals, he's now feeling vindicated. Jack, come on.
No, but my reason why he was doing well was because he benefited from being in a system that was purpose built for him getting the ball and scoring goals. He's not in that system anymore. It doesn't. He could still benefit from being there. And James, he's arguably one of the best, if not the best, like Premier League performer we've ever seen in terms of like pure numbers. What he was doing was unbelievable. But he's out of that kind of system now. And there's stuff like, oh hey, we're doing things a little differently. Build up's a little bit slower. We're going to need you to cover the left back of the opposition, and we're going to need to do these kind of things. And some of these frailties are coming to a head a bit, and he's kind of being like, "Oh, well, I had this perfect setup under my dream manager, where all I had to do was basically I played pretty much as the central striker, just slightly off the right, and all I had to do was score goals.
Yeah.
That was quite nice."
Now,
Whereas now we're kind of seeing some of the issues of it again. I know people will probably laugh, but
guys, Jack has had a vendetta with Salah since 2018. Since 2018. Yeah, we're now in 2026 and he's still trying to prove it wrong. Salah's won the battle. Salah's won a battle. He's won numerous battles. Jack's trying to win the war. The war is gone, Jack. Yeah. The war is done. Salah
the
has
war
won.
the war
Yeah.
comes to us all. But no, like, look, I think in all seriousness, was the Salah contract a good idea? Probably not. Not with that kind of money. I don't think so. I think the Van Dijk one was a good idea. I know he's not played his best, but I think if you'd have let him go, it would have been way too much of a risk to have to sign basically two new starters if you think that Konate is not quite at it. Them not signing Gahey looks like a dumb decision now, though. Oh my goodness, does that look like a dumb decision? And James, also, I know Isak got injured. Let Salah go, right? Let Salah go. Maybe get some money if you're able to figure it out so that he doesn't go on a free, but that maybe he signs an extension and then you get some money for him because he goes to Saudi, which he'll inevitably do. I think for the Islamic faith, he's like the number one person that they basically want over there, and that's going to be an amazing pull, and people are going to be so excited to see him play. I think Ekitike could do a pretty decent job off the right, don't you? Or do you put Sabozalai in off the right and then you can have Ekatike at the 10 and then Isak can play as 9? I don't know. There's this whole thing about Ekatike and Isak and how like, oh wow, they've got both. But then, and I know if we disregard the injuries, oh, they'll never play together. I think without Salah there, they could play together. No?
First thing I'm going to say, free my guy Dominic Szoboszlai. He's been Liverpool's
Oh,
best
he's
performer
so
this
good.
year. In fact, he's playing a fullback and it's killing me right now. So Liverpool get a proper fullback or your fullbacks stay fit so this guy can play in the midfield and be as dynamic as he has been this throughout this whole season. He's been a 1+ of Liverpool's season. Bear in mind,
Can
hasn't
I
been a good one.
quickly, can I quickly ask you a question? Came up in a group chat of mine recently.
Done.
Premier League this season, right?
Yeah.
2026, you have to pick a player who you're going to clone 11 times, and they have to play goalkeeper, both fullbacks, both centre backs, whatever formation you want. Who's your player?
Oh,
Mine, the reason why I'm bringing it up, mine was Dominic Szoboszlai
if I had all-time rankings, I had other people in my head. Now,
this season in Premier League.
who scores goals, who's all around there.
I
Oh,
think
that's a
some
tough one.
people threw out, I think, Bruno Fernandes. I think a couple of Arsenal fans, Declan Rice.
Decker's for sure. Bruno Fernandez for sure. I'm gonna go Bruno. I like Bruno. I'm gonna go Bruno.
Um, I just want to touch finally. I'm going to read you some quotes, kind of get your reaction here. Thomas Frank got sacked, quite rightly. Spurs aren't doing very well. Ange Postecoglou was on the overlap, and he described Spurs as a curious club and that they're not a big club. These are his words. They've built an unbelievable stadium, unbelievable training facilities, but when you look at the expenditure, particularly in the wage structure, they're not a big club. I saw that because when we were trying to sign players, we weren't in the market for those players. At the end of my first year, we finished fifth. How do you go from fifth to really challenging? Well, we had signed Premier League ready players, but finishing fifth that year didn't get us Champions League, so we didn't have the money. We ended up getting Solanke, and we've got three teenagers, Archie Gray, Bergval, Wilson Odobert, who are good players. Well, that's what he said. I was looking at Pedro Neto, Brian Mbumo, Antoine Semenyo, Mark Gahey, because I said that's how we go from fifth higher. That's what the other big clubs would do in that moment. And those three teenagers are great, but they're young. And I think they'll be great players for Tottenham, but they're not going to get you from fifth to fourth, third, etc., etc. James, what do we think about just Spurs in general? He mentions other comments like "to dare is to do" is written everywhere. Right, you and I were at uni at Wembley when Spurs were in that stadium, right? And to dare is to do was everywhere. This does not seem like a team that is willing to dare and take risks to go for greatness. Maybe Ange Postecoglou was that, I don't know. But financially speaking, they're not willing to push the boat out to get the players they need to go and do it. And just final thing, and I promise I'll be quiet. Ian Wright made a point. Harry Kane came through your academy system. We know what he's doing at Bayern. We know what he's done for England. We know what he did at Spurs. The fact they didn't grasp the nettle and do everything they could to surround Harry Kane with the perfect environment for him to succeed and then for them to potentially win Champions Leagues when they had maybe an opportunity to do so under Poch, to do better in the Champions League when they had the opportunity to do so. What is up with this team? It's weird.
Jack, do you know what? I had a game the other day, and one of my teammates was is big Spurs fan, and we're looking at it. This is when West Ham were up against United, so the difference between them and West Ham were in the relegation zone. Spurs was like 3 points. I'm
Yeah.
thinking 3 points. Wow, like Spurs are really in the relegation battle right now. It's five, still in the relegation battle. Right now, the table don't lie. It really doesn't, Jack. But at the same time, we have to open the whole thing up and look at really what's going on. Is it that they're not taking it as seriously? Because Jack, you look at the Champions League right now. Spurs were in the top eight. That's and that's the best teams in Europe that they're competing against on a week to week basis. They were in the top eight. So are you trying to tell me that form can't continue in the Premier League? Where does it go? Where is the motivation not there week in week out? Because sometimes, Jack, listen, we all know the stuff with Spurs. We don't got to tell ourselves the ambition to make big signings isn't as there. We like we get that, but at the same time, you got to ask yourself, are these players preparing properly for these Premier League games? Because you can't go on a run that you did in like the Europa League last year and win it, Jack, and now in an even harder competition, be in the top eight of the Premier League, I mean, of the Champions League, where teams like Barcelona didn't even qualify for the top eight. Some top teams in there didn't qualify. I'm not sure. I think it was Real Madrid. I'm not sure Barcelona and Real Madrid did. So there's clearly a lack of probably motivation when they get to certain Premier League games. There's probably the lack of excitement from these players, and a manager must enhance that from them because
You
it,
know,
it can't it can't work that way, Jack. To me, but the pay table doesn't lie. Two
no,
seasons of relegation issues is a problem.
it's a concern, isn't it? I think especially when pre-season people are talking about Van de Ven and Romero. It's close between Saliba and Gabriel and Van de Ven and Romero. It's kind of like I'm not so sure about that, guys. And James,
Mate.
I like a lot of the Spurs players. I do. Like I like a lot of what they potentially can be in the future. I think those three teenagers are a great example. I think Bergval, Gray. I think they've got some potentially really talented players there. Fullbacks nice and attacking. Van de Ven's this real freak show. Cuti Romero divides opinion, obviously. But yeah, it's very, very odd. The one thing I remember from the season that I really didn't like, though, was when Frank was, I think, going to try and communicate with Van der Ven and Jed Spence, and they both just ignored him and like brushed past him. When
Hmm.
he said, "Oh, hey, you need to go and you need to go clap the fans or whatever," they just ignored him and went down the tunnel. Didn't like that. So maybe there's a bit of a dressing room problem going on. Just quickly before we wrap up here in a second, any predictions on who you think the next man up's going to be, or I mean, not even a prediction. Who do you think it should be? Names like Glasner, Marco Silva. Does Poch come back after the World Cup? What do you
Oh my
reckon?
days,
Ryan
Poch, Poch,
Mason,
Poch, 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 Poch,
Ryan
Poch.
Mason
They
get
gotta
his 20th chance doing it.
do not appoint Poch back. Don't go back to that X because Jack, listen, leave it the way it was.
Yeah,
Enjoy the memories because she comes back and she gets sacked again or you break
yeah,
up again. It's a madness. So
yeah, yeah.
I would avoid that. I think probably somebody like a Deserbi. I don't know. I've always been a big fan of him. I know Marseille hasn't been blown. He hasn't blown anybody away. But the impression that he gave me in Brian, the way he plays the game, and obviously Spurs want to play in an expansive style. I think deserve like could be the guy. And you look at the team, quite young players there who have the impression that they want to learn And De
Yeah.
Zerbi's a manager that, to me, doesn't know how to put his foot down. So things like the issues you're seeing with players probably won't happen there because he can also isolate players too. So I'm a big fan of De Zerbi.
Um, just my 2 cents. I'd love to see Oliver Glasner give the Spurs job a go. I think he'd be the one if I was in the boardroom that I'd be pushing for. James, I think that's going to do it for us. Guys, sorry we've been away for so long. We'll endeavour to do some more posting where we can and have a bit of fun doing it that way. Like, share, subscribe to all that wonderful stuff. And James, you got anything else to say, or are we all done?
Guys, I'm gonna say like, share, and subscribe. Just enjoy the video. If you really enjoy, share it. Tell your mom, dad, uncle, auntie, friends, dog, whoever. Yeah, let everybody know that James and Jack still are alive in this YouTube game. Give us a subscribe if you want, and if you haven't, no, if you have, stay subscribed. If you haven't, subscribe.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.